all over the Mickey Mouse Cup. Of course, Spurs got themselves off to a bit of a clanger up against Rennes last time around. But of course, can they bounce back into match number 2? We'll take a look at that and more next. That's right, folks. Papa's going to another prediction video today. We're looking forward to match number 2 in the Europa Conference League, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and get your bang up today with all things Europa League related, Papa Rovers related, football related. We got it all here, boys. And Ruski, that's right, of course, Europa Conference League match number 2 is around the corner with the likes of course, Roma, Union Berlin, of course, Spurs in action, of course, trying to get themselves back into contention, to get themselves in the thick of things. We'll take a look at, of course, that and more in a minute. Of course, big shout out to my VRPs. I'm talking about my Patreons. Big shout out to you guys. Thank you for support. If you're interested in helping us out, check out the link down below, patreon.com/overseas. So here we go. Let's take a look then. Shout, of course, of the games that took place last time out, of course. Here we go. Maccabi Tel Aviv, Israel, they're going to FC Alashkert. They got a massive win, 4-1 win in the end. I went with a 2-0 win myself, not too shabby. HJK Helsinki lost to LASK at home, so big win for the Austrians on that one. Anorthosis, Famagusta coming at you from Cyprus against Partizan Belgrade. 2-0 win for Partizan on that one to give themselves a good old win over. In Group B, FC Flora took on CSKA Gent. It was a 1-0 win for the Belgians on that one to keep themselves in contention already with Partizan Belgrade at the top of the table. Mourinho's boys, they ran right over CSKA Sofia, 5-1 win for them. Bodø Glimt also got themselves a home win as well, 3-1 in the end. Not too shabby over Zorya Lugansk. Meanwhile, the Danes, Randers FC, drew with AC Alkmaar. Have had a bit of an awkward start to life in the Dutch flight, but of course, they've also had a bit of a rough start so far against Randers. Jablonec gets Cluj, ended up as a 1-0 win for Jablonec on this one. Maccabi Haifa gets Feyenoord was a 0-0 draw. Of course, the Dutchies failed to deliver on the day. That one, even Slavia Prague did beat Union Berlin 3-1 over in Prague as well. Slovan Bratislava lost to Copenhagen at home. Meanwhile, the Gibraltars, Lincoln Red Imps lost to PAOK. Of course, 2-0 win as well. I do anticipate a lot of those this campaign. NS Mura did take on VST's Arnhem and they lost 2-0 win in the end. Of course, Rennes and Spurs due to a 2-2 draw, and I called it, absolutely called it. Kairat against Nicosia was a 0-0 draw as well. Karabakh also picked up a 0-0 draw against FC Basel. As you can see, how much did I do? I got myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got myself 10, boys. What would that have done to me in the prediction league? Well, it would have got me up to bloody third in the bloody prediction league. Yannick Bustler, Kevin Wright though, one-housed me to get themselves 11 out of whatever the heckin' thing is, of course. That is, of course, early doors. We still got a lot of predictions to get in it, so still get involved with the code, which I'll show you in a minute. Let's take a look at the table right here, right now. Of course, Maccabi Tel Aviv and LASK lead the charge over in Group A. That is right. Meanwhile, Partizan and Genk also got themselves off to winning starts over in Group B. Roma, Bodø Glimt lead the charge over in Group C. In D, it's Jablonec leading the charge at the moment. AZ Alkmaar, Randers, of course, duking it out for second at the moment. Slavia Prague, of course, in charge in Group E with Copenhagen and PAOK doing the business over in Group F. In G, it's VST's Arnhem at the moment. Spurs and Rennes level on points as joint second, of course. And Karabakh, Omin and Nicosia, Basel and Kairat all square in Group H. Anyone's chance to get out of that group. Let's take a look at, of course, if this is the code, if you want to get involved, it is cut.ly/ECL picks to get involved with the next round of matches. So here are those illustrious next round of matches, and we're going to jump in the deep end. Of course, I'll take a look at the next round of matches, which will all kick off. I don't have any odds on this one, so it is all about gut instinct. And we're going to start with, I believe, Alashkert. And they're going to take on HJK Helsinki. Of course, according to my brain, they're no place they're heading into this one. Of course, Alashkert coming to this without a win in 6. We were just 1 win in 6 for HJK Helsinki. Of course, last round, Alashkert took on Novarec over in the top flight, over in their respective country, whichever that is. Of course, HJK Helsinki took on Hivik over in the Finnish top flight. They lost, of course. Not great for them. It's actually been back-to-back 3 games without scoring a goal for HJK Helsinki. They'll take on Turku this weekend. They're anticipated to win. Meanwhile, Alashkert will take on Vashkavesk over in the top flight over there. Got no odds on this one. Going with my gut. Going to go with my gut says a home win on this one. 1-0 to take take it to the house. Next up, of course, we have LASK up against Maccabi Tel Aviv over in Austria. Now, these two sides have never played each other, of course, heading into this one. Of course, LASK unbeaten the last 3 games. Meanwhile, Maccabi Tel Aviv also unbeaten the last 3 games, picking up a win last round against Maccabi Haifa over in the Israeli top flight, of course, to make it a back-to-back wins for them. Meanwhile, LASK coming to the back of the winning over SD Stripping over the Austrian Cup. Of course, they'll take on Admir Waraka this weekend, and they are the favourites for that one. Meanwhile, Maccabi Tel Aviv will take on Beersheva over the Israeli top flight as well on this one. I think again, got no odds. Going to go with my gut. My gut says home win, 2-1 win for LASK on this one. Over into Group B, we've got is CSKA Gent up against Anorthosis Famagusta, of course, from Cyprus. They're going to Belgium though this week, and of course they played the one time. According to my knowledge, it was a friendly, doesn't really count. But of course, the Belgians coming to this just one defeat. In fact, 1 win in the past 4 games for Gent. Meanwhile, Famagusta also coming to 2 wins in the past 4 games as well. Both coming into 58% form. Famagusta did beat Antonius last round over in the top flight over in Cyprus. Meanwhile, Gent coming to the back of that draw against Anderlecht. They'll take on Sissel Bruges this weekend. They're anticipated to win. Meanwhile, Famagusta will take on Alias Limassol, and again, I don't know what's going to go on that one. It could go either way there, but this one could go either way as well. But I'm going to go with the home team on this one. Quite a big one, 3-0 win in the end for Gent. Next up, of course, what do we have? We have a Partizan Belgrade up against Flora. Of course, now these two sides are taking on each other over in the same group as Gent and Famagusta. Played each other never. Of course, Belgrade came to just 5 wins in the past 6 games. Meanwhile, Flora also won 5 out of the past 6, but they actually lost 1, whereas Partizan Belgrade picked up a draw. Of course, heading into this one, Partizan Belgrade picked up a win against Mladenis Luciani, of course, over the top flight over there. 2-0 win for them. Meanwhile, Florida Tallinn coming to us on the back of that win over Nava, 5-2 win in the end. There's actually been back-to-back wins for them as well. Of course, they'll take on Verandi this weekend. I anticipate a win, I'm sure. Partizan Belgrade will take on Spartak over in the top flight over their respective business as well. I do anticipate Partizan will win this one, 2-0 win, clean sheet to boot, and of course, we'll keep on believing that they've got something in this group. Next, of course, into Group C, we have Zorya Lugansk. They're going to be taking on Roma. Of course, it's Mourinho's boys going on the road. Never played each other, of course, heading into this. Just 1 defeat past 4 games for Lugansk. Meanwhile, Roma just 1 defeat past 6 for them. Of course, they did beat Udinese. They got back to winning ways last week, midweek. Of course, over in Serie A, where Lugansk did take on Chemnia Odessa, and they won 3-0 last round. They'll take on Dnipro Rowan this weekend over in Ukraine. Is that where they're playing? As for Roma, they'll take on Lazio in the all-Rome derby on this, so it could be a bit of a zinger on this one. I'm going to go with my gut, which my gut says Roma. My gut says Mourinho, 2-0 win on the road, and of course keep on dreaming as well for them to make it go 100% success rate. Next, of course, we have CSKA Sofia. They're going to be taking on Bodø Glimt, also in the same group, that is Group C. They're now playing each other, of course, heading into CSKA Sofia coming to just 1 defeat past 6. Meanwhile, Bodø Glimt coming to 5 wins in the past 6. The only hiccup there is a draw. Of course, they did beat Alta last round over in the Norwegian Cup. Is that right? CSKA Sofia took on Herber Palacis and also won in the their respective cup as well. They'll take on CSKA Sofia, will take on Levski Sofia this weekend and anticipate a win. Meanwhile, Bodø Glimt will take on Vålerenga Oslo, of course, over in Norwegian top flight, and anticipate to win that game as well. Tight one this one, but I'm going to go with the host, 2-1 win for them to take it to the house. Next up, we have the Dutchies, AZ Alkmaar taking on FK Jablonec over in Group D. That's right. Of course, AZ Alkmaar having an absolute shit show at the moment over in the Dutchies. I can't even see this game. Who are they taking on? Jablonec. There they are, Alkmaar. Of course, yeah, they're in the relegation zone, I think, in the Dutch fight at the moment. They played each other 2 times, according to my knowledge. Of course, 1 win for AZ, and of course, nothing for Jablonec, and there's been a draw as well. The biggest win for AZ was a 2-0 win. That was in the Europa League qualification campaign back in July 2011, of course. AZ and Alkmaar coming to us on back-to-back loss, losing to Hercules Almelo and losing to FC 20. They were both away. In fact, they've actually not won once in the last 3 matches, which all were away. So Jablonec coming into the back of a win over FK Kairat over in the cup, over in their country, of course. They'll take on Slovan this weekend. They're anticipated to win that one, of course, and AZ Alkmaar are anticipated to win against Go Ahead Eagles as well. Gut on this one, no odds. AZ Alkmaar should win this one, 2-0 win, and finally get the season off to a stinker then. Next we have CFR Cluj against Randers over in Romania. These two sides never played each other, of course. Coming into Cluj, just 1 win in 4. Meanwhile, Randers unbeaten in the last 3, picking up a win against Fermat Almaja over in the Danish Cup last time. Meanwhile, Cluj did lose to Craiova in the Romanian Cup in the last 32 over there. So of course they'll come into this. They haven't actually won the last 3 home matches as well. They'll take on Ultra Arad this weekend. They are the favourites. Of course, Randers are taking on Marjolaine this weekend. They're expected to lose that game. I think it's going to be a win for Cluj on this one, even though they haven't won the last 3 at home. So of course they should bounce back on this one. Next up, of course, we have Union Berlin up against Maccabi Haifa, of course, from Israel. Of course, Union Berlin doing okay in the Bundesliga. They're an awkward kind of team. They did lose last round, I think, against. It's actually been back-to-back defeats for Dortmund, for Berlin Berlin on this one. They've actually just 2 defeats in the past 6 games. Meanwhile, Maccabi coming to just 1 defeat and the past 6 for them. Of course, they did beat Belshava in the Israeli something going on here. I'm trying to see what that is. The final of a cup. They won on penalties. As for Union Berlin, they did lose to Dortmund last round. Of course, they'll take on Bielefeld this weekend. They're anticipated to win that game. Maccabi Haifa will take on Maccabi Pekta Tekivida over in the Israeli top flight. And I'm sure they're anticipated to win that game as well. Union Berlin will win this one, though. 3-1 win to give the Bundesliga outfit a win over in Group E. Next, of course, we have the same group. It's Feyenoord against Slavia Prague in what is quite a difficult group on this one. I'm not too sure which way it'll pan out, but these two sides never played each other, of course, before. But coming into this final, back-to-back wins for them. Meanwhile, Slavia Prague have actually won 4 in the bounce. They took on Partizan Slovan over in the Czech Cup, and they won 4-2. Meanwhile, Feyenoord did beat Hadovin last round over the Eredivisie. They'll take on Nijmegen this weekend, anticipated to win that game. Meanwhile, Slavia Prague will take on Hajduk Craiova, and they're also anticipated to win that game. Don't have odds, but I think Feyenoord will be your favourites, but I'm going with a 2-2 draw on this one because Slavia Prague's form looks quite immense so far. Let's take a look at, of course, the next round of match is PAOK over against Slovan Bratislava over in, what is it, A, B, C, D, E, F, Group F. That is right. Let's take a closer look at this one over in Greece. These two sides, according to my brain, have never played each other, of course, but PAOK, in fact, scrap, they've actually played twice. They have actually played twice, one win apiece. That one and only win for PAOK was a 3-2 win last round, and PAOK, of course, Slovan Bratislava did beat them when they did play them over in Bratislava, and that was a 1-0 win. And those games took place in the 2019-2020 Europa League qualification campaign. Of course, heading into this, PAOK has just 1 defeat past 5 for them. Meanwhile, Slovan Bratislava with just 1 win in 6, 42% form. That 1 win was against Zlata Moriaci over in the top flight in the respective country. Meanwhile, they did come into this on the back of that loss against Razbanec, of course, in the top flight as well. Meanwhile, PAOK come into this on the back of that win over Panathinaikos, I think. It was a 2-1 win in the Superliga last round. They'll take on Athens this week, and they're anticipated to win that game. Meanwhile, Slovan Bratislava will take on Seneca. Meanwhile, this match, of course, go with the gut on this one. My gut says 1-0 win for the hosts. PAOK on this one over in Greece. PAOK have a winning streak of 3 matches, of course they do. Let's take a look at, of course, Copenhagen against the Gibraltars. It's the Lincoln Red Imps over in Denmark. On the travels of the Gibraltars. Of course, it's quite exciting just to see them here. They never played each other, of course, heading into this. However, Copenhagen coming to this back-to-back defeats. Meanwhile, the Lincoln Red Imps come into just 1 win at the past 6 games. Of course, they did lose to PAOK last round, and they'll take on Copenhagen this time around, of course, as the Gibraltar top flight doesn't start till October. As for Copenhagen, they come into on the back of that loss, a shock loss in the Danish Cup to Nykøbing, 3-0 loss in the end. But before that, they did lose to Marshall as well. They are anticipated to take on Nordsjælland this weekend in the Danish top flight. They're anticipated to win that game as well. Look at the odds on this one. They've got no odds, actually. It is going to be Copenhagen, isn't it? 4-0 win, going big over in Denmark to take it to the house. Next up, we go into Spurs group. That's right, Spurs. That Group G, they're going to be taking it on NS Miura over at the Fancy Pants Stadium over in London. Of course, these two sides never played each other. Of course, coming to Spurs, 58% form, just 1 win in 4. That 1 win was against Wolverhampton Wanderers on penalties. As for Miura, they come to just 1 defeat past 4 for them, 42% form. Of course, they come to the back of that draw against Toba Santana. They'll take on Copa this weekend, probably anticipated to win. Meanwhile, Spurs will go to Arsenal in the All-London affair, this one, North London derby, and anticipate to lose that game as well. But I think Spurs will win this one, 3-0 win, even with the kids. I think they're going to be too good enough, too strong over in Group G. And joining them will be Virtus Arnhem. They're going to be taking on, of course, Rennes on this one. These two sides, according to my brain, if I can bloody find it, there it is, over in Group G. Have never played each other, according to my knowledge. 67% form is Virtus. That's just actually 1 win in 4. Sorry, 1 defeat in 4. Meanwhile, Rennes come to just 1 win in 5 for them. Of course, they did take on Clermont Foot, and they won 6-0 last round. They'll take on Bodø this weekend, where they're anticipated to win that game. Meanwhile, Virtus Arnhem could on the back of a win against Groningen. They're going to take on Fortuna Sittard this weekend, and they're anticipated to win that game as well. This one's tight, but I'm going to go with a away win on this one. Rennes to maybe get a bit of control over in Group G, and of course get the first win in the campaign. And then into the final two now, we have Basel. They're going to be taking on Kairat, of course, over in Switzerland. These two sides never played each other, of course. Heading into the Basel are unbeaten in the last 5, picked up 2 wins and 3 draws. Meanwhile, 1 defeat past 6 games for Kairat as well. 75% form for them. They did take on Kaiser Casaroda in the cup, over in the playoff cup or whatever it is, and they won 3-0. Meanwhile, Basel took on Galan last round, and they won 2-0 as well. Actually got 3 clean sheets on the back, drawing with Quarterback, picking up a cup win against Goldach and of course a draw against St. Gallen last round. They'll take on Zorya this weekend, anticipated win. Meanwhile, Kairat will take on Shakhtar Karagay, and they're anticipated to win that game, I'm sure. 2-0 though for Basel on this one to give themselves a win, and of course maybe a bit of control in Group H. And finally, is Armenia Nicosia taking on Qarabağ over in Group H as well. Of course, over in Cyprus. Now these two sides have never played each other. Of course, heading into this one, Armenia Nicosia actually just won once in the past 4 games. Meanwhile, Qarabağ coming to unbeaten in the last 6, picking up 5 wins on the bounce. Well, not 5 wins on the bounce. 5 wins out of 6. The only hiccup was a draw. They took on Semaget last round over in the top flight, and they won 2-0. It's actually been back-to-back clean sheets for them. Meanwhile, Armenia Nicosia coming to this on the back of a win against Caracas over in the top flight over in Cyprus. Although they take on Paphos this weekend, and probably expect to win that one. Qarabağ will take on Kesha this weekend. They're going to expect to win that game as well. I think it's a draw there in my eyes, but I really think Qarabağ will win this one. Their form is immense. They're keeping clean sheets as well. So yeah, if I was to change anything on this, I would change that last one and go with a win for Qarabağ. But I've gone with a draw in the end. But that's my picks. Be sure to get your own picks, of course, using the code, which is /ECL picks, which stands for Europa Conference League, just in case you missed it. But that's it, my friends. Be sure to give the video some love and smash your thumbs up, smash your subscribe, check the links down below on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, of course, Patreon. Until then, I'll see you soon. Until then, we are done.